I'd like to call to order the June 9th meeting of the Shelby Township Planning Commission. I'll ask the secretary to call the roll, please.
Commissioner DeShaw?
Here.
Commissioner Baker? Here. Commissioner Larray?
Here.
Commissioner Apone?
Here.
Commissioner Turner?
Here.
Commissioner Moffett is here. Commissioner Long and Commissioner Moore are absent, and I will be acting secretary for the evening, and we have a quorum.
Great, thank you. First item is approval of the agenda.
So move.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is approval of the minutes from the April 28th meeting. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Four substantive issues this evening, the first being site plan special land use number 24-04 for Rogeri. If the petitioner is here. Thank you. Again, anyone speaking this evening, name and address, and then after you're done speaking, there's a sign-in sheet for you to fill.
Thank you, Mr. Moffett. Good evening, Phil Ruggieri, 55764 St. Regis, Shelby Township. As you'll recall, this matter was approved through the Planning Commission and ultimately Board of Trustees. We had the rezoning from R1 to C2 linear retail and special land use for a gas station, convenience center, and a store with drive-through. What we've attempted to do is we're just about ready for spade in the ground once engineering is all done and that permit is ready. But we've come across some concepts that we think would warrant our attention. Let me just show you. As you can see, the building to the top is what we presented originally throughout the approval process, and it's a very nice building, but we've come across some architects and other people in the business, and there's a trend going more modernistic, more glass, to give it a better curb appeal and a building that'll mesh with the times and here into the future. So what we've done is we've put together the slide presentation to show you what these buildings look like. That is looking at the east side of the building, and you can look to the right would be the north end of the building. Substantial amount of glass, some nice blue color meshed in with the gray tonish brick. And then we have, this is the north view coming along 26 Mile Road. As you can see, a substantial amount of glass. The building looks two-story, but it's virtually a one-story use. And then we have another view of the east side of the building. And then that would be to the south would be where the drive-through goes through. And that's just another depiction of the drive-through to the south when the cars go around the building. Same with that. And this is a rendition of what the building would look like. The brick, they had taken the photography during the nighttime and then the daytime, so you got a little bit different color in the brick, but that brick will be a little darker and that white will be more of a grayish tone, so it looks a little distorted. And again, let's go back to the original. So basically, we're asking for you to consider allowing us to modify the facade to incorporate that modernistic look. We think it's very appealing. We've ran it through several people, and everyone seems to gravitate to this newer concept. So before we put our spade in the ground, we'd like to, get your comments, and if we can get your approval on it, we'll proceed, and if we don't, we'll proceed with the other building. But I just think it warrants taking a shot at it, because this building is a lot more expensive than the original building we presented, but we're willing to spend the money to do this building, because we think it's just a better overall project. And it'll be a showpiece for Shelby, especially in that area where the growth will take place with the new subdivisions. And then the property to the southeast corner, they're going to have a strip center and some more multi-family there as well. So we just think it's a better fit, and we're willing to take on that cost and that endeavor as long as everyone feels comfortable with it. And that's it. I have Andy Wakeland, our engineer. He can support. There's no other changes, but basically it's just that facade image look. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. To the planner for her comments.
Thank you, Chairman. We still have some outstanding items related to the street trees and landscaping. A photometric plan is still required, including the light fixtures that are proposed around the building. Those do not meet our code requirements. Those decorative lighting, while they are very nice, will still need a photometric plan with a resubmittal. Also, major 2 screening along the south property line. So while those materials are in line, with our ordinance, there's glazing and metal and brick. The only clarification I need is there is blue on the aluminum on the facade, vertical striping on the facade, and also around the top of the building. The plans did not depict what type of material this is. So I wasn't certain if it was LED lights or it was different aluminum shade facade.
If I can
Yes.
address, yeah, I did talk to the architect earlier today and verify that that is a blue metal, and the top white line is a white metal
Okay.
form, no LEDs. And we have no issue with the comments that you mentioned. We're going to address those when we resubmit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
To the board, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I support to recommend approval to the Township Board for conditional rezoning and site plan special land use modification number 24-04, Phil Ruggieri, Shaner 26 Properties LLC, located in the southwest corner of 26 Mile Road and Shaner Road. Proposed rezoning from R1 Single Family Residential to C2 Linear Retail Commercial, and site plan special land use for a proposed gas station with drive-through based on the following. The change would not adversely impact any abutting development. The proposed elevations are in line with the current facade trends for commercial business, and the submission of 8 copies of the revised site plan is required, incorporating applicable review comments from the Planning Commission, Township Departments, and engineers.
Support.
Moved by Turner, support by Apone. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Apone?
Yes.
Commissioner Larray?
Yes.
Commissioner Deschamps?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Casale?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is site plan number 25-10, Travis Sakana.
They gotta be here for this.
Good evening, everyone. Eric Williams with Stonefield Engineering and Design. Address is 555 South Old Woodward, Birmingham, Michigan. We are here tonight representing the applicant, Symmetry Management. I do have Mr. Travis Sokana here on their behalf as well. As you know, we are seeking site plan approval for the renovation of the former Boston's Restaurant located at 15133 Hall Road. I think if you have reviewed the staff packet, the building was built in 2006. It has been Boston's Restaurant that entire time. Unfortunately, they've since closed, and so we are looking to renovate, modify the site a little bit, but really look to reuse that building to the greatest extent possible. So the site itself is 1.6 acres. It's zoned within the C3 Shopping Center Business District. Restaurants with drive-throughs are permitted, along with outdoor seating and credit unions or financial institutions. So the plan in front of you is essentially to take that existing building, split it into 2 separate tenant spaces. The west space will be a 2,655 square foot Kava restaurant. You will see a, I think in the code it's probably referred to as a drive-through window, but Kava would really term it as a pickup window, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. You will see the patio along the south elevation, and then the eastern 3,930 square feet will be a credit union. The other piece that you'll see added to the property is a drive-through ATM, kind of a standalone kiosk to the north of the site. That will obviously be accessory to the credit union use. For those of you not familiar with Cava, it is a new Mediterranean fast casual restaurant that is entering the Michigan market. There's a handful that have been approved throughout the state. This is another one that they are looking to add to their repertoire. It's similar to Chipotle, just kind of the operations and the ordering and everything else that's offered. And with that, actually, the drive-through or pickup window operates the exact same as Chipotle. I think maybe the closest is Hull and Gratiot. I think there's a new one that recently opened. If you visited that site, the drive-through itself is not your classic drive-through. It's a pickup window. There's no on-site ordering. You'd have to actually order through your app. When your food is available, you could then proceed through the line and pick up your food and exit the property. So again, a little different than your standard drive-through, but generally the same. Site circulation, again, largely the same. The only change is really restricting the the east-west lane that exists today on the north side of the building will be restricted to westbound only, just to facilitate both drive-through users. 89 parking spaces are provided, 38 are required. The project actually is adding green space to the property, believe it or not. We're obviously adding some drive-throughs, but we are adding green space overall. Existing landscape largely will remain as is. We will supplement where necessary along the western property line and adding some hedgerows where possible. Existing lighting on site is proposed to be replaced. The light poles are proposed to remain, but we are looking to supplement those with high-efficiency LED lights that'll be full cutoff, backlight shielded, meeting the codes. The building itself is approximately 20 feet tall. It does have a 3.5-foot parapet. If you're looking at the building today, there is a tower feature that's kind of centered above the signage. That'll actually be removed along with the metal panels that you can see above the windows. Those panels would then be replaced with a wood grain fiber cement product. The existing ephes that's on the building, I think it's painted like a dark brown today, would actually be painted to a white if you look at the elevations. And then the stone that's on the lower half of the building is actually proposed to remain. So really what Cava is looking to do is obviously modernize the building a little bit, freshen it up, give it that airy Mediterranean look to go with, along with their product. And then, I guess, just acknowledging, we have received staff reports from both planning and engineering. Just a few comments, I guess, maybe items to discuss with the group. Starting with the planning review, item number 4 does talk about 8 street trees that are required along Hall Road. We looked at adding these, and unfortunately, there's an existing water main that's located along the length of Hall Road, along with a public utility easement. I think if we shared that with AEW, they'd most likely ask us to remove those trees. So again, we'd be open to something else that, the commission would like to see, but at this point, we don't think we can necessarily agree to those without having some disagreement with the engineering department. Existing irrigation on site would obviously remain and be modified as needed. Item number 8, no outdoor storage or outdoor displays of merchandise will be present. We're happy to agree to that. Hours of operation for both users. So Cava right now is looking to have operations 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That would include their patio. The credit union would be 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then limited hours on Saturday. And then item 11 in the planning report is pointing to the light trespass along the northern property line. Like I mentioned earlier, the light poles that are on site today, we are looking to maintain. I think if you look at those and where they're located relative to the subject property's property line, and then obviously the cross-access drive with Meyer, it's almost a 0-foot setback. I don't think there's any way we could feasibly meet that requirement, but we do believe that we are meeting the intent of the code. There's nothing egregious in what we're asking for. It's really just standard parking lot lighting that, due to proximity is obviously crossing the property boundaries. And then looking at the engineering review, item number 1, so there is a note here regarding a bypass lane. It's not very pointed in terms of which user they're looking for a bypass lane on, but we don't necessarily believe this is or should be required. So again, looking back at Cava's operations, this is simply a pickup window. There's obviously stacking shown on the plan, but based on the speed of transaction at that window, there's no sales, right? It's all done through the app. They basically take your name, they hand you your food, and you're on your way. So there's typically very, very limited stacking there. And then item number 4 speaks to existing cross-access easements that are on site. You know, this building obviously exists as it sits today. The access easements are in place. So we're open to trying to amend those, but we're not necessarily able to commit to that because there are multiple parties that are involved in that process. So with that, again, Travis Sokana is here on behalf of the developer, and myself, we are happy to answer any questions, and we appreciate your time this evening.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the planning department to offer their comments. Nick?
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Williams, that was a great job explaining the site plan and what you're looking to do there. As Mr. Williams said, it is a by right use in that C3 district. Now, there are a couple review comments I did want to reiterate to the Planning Commission and kind of cover what went on internally with these comments, too. The biggest one that Mr. Williams covered was the 8 street trees that are required along Hall Road. Now, I did confirm with the Director of Department of Public Works that they would not hinder that water main there, and they should be planted there. So I think that's something that we can require for this site plan, and I'd rather see it not get any variances for this property, since it is highly visible along Hall Road. And a lot of traffic in and out of the township. And what you're doing is a great job for that property, making it more, vehicle-oriented, auto-friendly in that area. So I'd like to see all the ordinances met there, especially with those street tree requirements, as we have. Majority of other businesses also meet those where they can. Besides that, the only other comment I have that was not covered by Mr. Williams would be the wood grain fiber cement, which deviates from the brick and stone requirement that the township has for any building that fronts a main road. With the wood cladding proposed, it would require specific approval from the Planning Commission. But with that, like I said, Mr. Williams did a great job explaining the site plan, so I have really nothing else to cover. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. To the board, are there any questions for the petitioner or the planner? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Chairman.
I'm sorry, yes.
Just to the applicant, so will you fulfill all work that the township is requesting when it comes to the trees and what the planner was talking about?
Yeah, we are, if we are able to plant those trees, we will happily plant those trees. And then I guess really we would just be looking to the Planning Commission to accept the wood grain fiber cement product in lieu of masonry or stone.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah,
So the
Commissioner
wood
Baker.
grain, where, it's not visible where that is. Can you explain exactly where that wood grain paneling will go?
Doesn't show it very well in there.
My name is John Friel with Symmetry Management, Director of Design.
State your address, sir.
I'm sorry?
Your address.
Address is, I'm only 2 months into Symmetry. What is the address? Oh, you want my personal? Okay.
Probably business address, yeah.
12713 Via Catharina, Grand Blanc, Michigan. On the package you have, so you can see where it says Cava, so that piece there. And then on this one, there is 3 pieces on the other side. And there are some horizontal lines there, but that's the pieces that the cement board would be. So basically the sign panel areas of the building.
That's what I assume, but thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Pone.
move to approve site plan number 25-10 Travis Sokana, 15133 Hall Road, parcel number 23-07-36-400-062, located on the north side of Hall Road, west of Hayes, Boston Redevelopment Restaurant with drive-through and bank and ATM. Approval is subject to the submission of revised site plan addressing all department and site plan review comments.
Support.
Moved by Pone, supported by Turner. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Pone?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Larray?
Yes.
Commissioner Deschamps?
Yeah.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Casale?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Good luck. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing for site plan special land use 25-01. Michael Thune. I'll ask the secretary to read the notices published.
Yes. The Charter Township of Shelby Notice of Public Hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission for the Charter Township of Shelby, Macomb County, Michigan, has received a request for approval of site plan special land use. Applicant Michael Foon, Admirals Metals LLC, 41200 Mound Road, Sterling Heights, Michigan, 48314. The proposed use is Admiral Metals Metal Recycling Facility. The location is 49920 Ryan Road and 4150 22 Mile Road, located on the southeast corner of 22 Mile Road and Ryan Road. Site plan SLU number 25-01. Sidwell number 230720300052 and 230720300026. The legal description is as follows. The Planning Commission will meet on Monday, June 9th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Shelby Township Municipal Building, Boardroom 52700 Van Dyke Avenue, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48316, for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the site plan special land use request. The application for the site plan special land use may be examined at the Planning and Zoning Department in the municipal building Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. Written comments may be submitted to the Planning Commission at the above address prior to the hearing. Oral comments will be heard during the public hearing. This notice is provided pursuant to the requirements of Michigan Public Act 110 of 2006 as amended. Shelby Township Planning Commission, Jerome Moffett, Chair, and Raquel Moore, Secretary. The publication with date was May 21st, 2025 in the Macomb Daily. 10 property owners and 2 applicants were notified by first-class mail on May 20th, 2025.
Thank you. Mr. Kirk, did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, it did.
Okay, thank you. And could you explain the present zoning and if this special land use request is appropriate for this district?
Present zoning is our heavy manufacturing area, most intense use. Under the special land use provisions, the proposed use is permitted with special land use approval.
Great, thank you. So the format for the public hearing will be as follows. The petitioner or representative will state what they're requesting and their reasons for it. Then bring it back to the board to ask any questions for the petitioner. I'll then open it up to the public, and anyone's free to come and offer their comment or ask any questions. I'll take note of those questions, and then we'll bring the petitioner back up to answer or address anything that's raised this evening. At this point,
Good evening. I'm Carol Thurber. I'm with Noack and Prouse Engineers, 48680 Van Dyke, here in Shelby Township. And I am also accompanied by Michael and Elliot Foon from Admiral Metals. And we are here to present for the special land use, which according to the Shelby Township zoning ordinance considers the metal commodities recycling operations as a junkyard under section 4.50. So although it is a permitted use, the special land use is required. In addition, the special land use request is also for outdoor storage. Admiral Metals, I believe this is also in your packet, but I'm not sure. No?
what do you?
This presentation that's on the screen.
We've received.
So
something,
you've already seen it all. So I'll try to make it a little more brief. Excuse me. Admiral Metals has been around for 4 generations. They began in the 1930s in Sterling Heights. I'm having trouble getting this to go. And I think one of the largest items to note on this property is what it looked like. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Again, Admiral Metals is a family-owned business. Before the improvements, and I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what that site looked like, it was, had a lot of garbage and pallets. In total, 7,700 yards of trash and 20,000 yards of wood debris were removed from that site. That's about 77 football fields worth of junk that was taken away. So the owner has already gone a long way to improve the site. The facility will be on that 10-acre parcel, and there are no ground site improvements that will be done now that the site looks like this. The site plan is really for the use of showing the traffic patterns, the landscaping, and the required screening that will be required due to the special land use. In the packet, we also did a line of sight, because that is one of the biggest concerns of how this site will look from Ryan Road. And so we tried to do the line of sight showing a vehicle or a pedestrian and what they would see beyond the wall, and really they would not see any of the outdoor storage. And again, there are no improvements other than cleaning up the site. There will be no paving, there will be no storm sewer, there will be no other additional work being done on the site. It is going to remain as is. And that is, Emerald Metals is very committed to their new place in Shelby Township here, and I think that they were going to be a welcome addition to the township. And you want to add anything?
Just if you want to click on that video we made.
Let's hope it works. There you go. Let's see if it works. A little more. And if anyone would like, I can bring up the other line of sight rendering too, if it helps for the public, but. Is that it?
All right, thank you. To the board, are there any questions for the petitioner?
Said one quick question.
Sure,
Mrs. Thurber, maybe you'll know the answer to this. That wall that you're putting all along Ryan Road, and then how far to the east does that extend over?
Far to the east. It extends, let me pull the plan. We dimensioned.
Show it on the plan, but I'm not sure how wide that, along that wall is there.
It extends to where it meets an existing wall, which
Okay.
is more of the precast. It's not as attractive over there, but there's no site.
That shows the
To that
difference
area.
between your hashtag one and the other one, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Casale.
Yeah, I do have a question. The renderings show that the materials are all level or below level of the walls. And is that a requirement, or is that what you plan to do? I'm used to seeing just mounds of recycling material at these
The
locations.
materials will be higher than the walls.
Okay.
Yes. The rendering is kind of just trying to show that the line of sight, so where you're looking from the top of the wall, will still block the view of those piles, just because of the angle. There's such a grade difference from Ryan Road and the sidewalk.
I see.
That kind of helps your line of sight.
Right, because we do have a requirement for that, right?
Correct, the wall is 8 feet.
But
Julie,
the,
do
we
As
have a
far as the
requirement, how high the,
Yes, in that
Materials?
zoning district, the height is 40 feet.
oh,
In the heavy manufacturing zoning district, there's limitation of 40 feet.
okay. So you're, with your line of sight
And the
proposal.
line of sight was drawn with a 40-foot pal to
Great.
ensure that you would not be able to see.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you. This will be the only public hearing the Planning Commission will hold on this special land use request. All remarks will be entered into the record for Township Board evaluation. We are a recommending body, and ultimately the Township Board will make a final decision on this request. At this time, anyone's free to come and offer a comment or ask any questions for the petitioner. Okay, just need your name and address, and when you're done speaking, there's a sheet to sign in.
Name is Nick Westage. Address is 13001 Michael Drive. My dad is the owner of Dugan Manufacturing on 22 and Ryan. We use Admiral Metals for all of our scrap needs. We go through tons and tons of scrap. They've been a great addition to the community. They cleaned up the yard over there very well compared to what it was. We've seen it every day. So all four of these guys over there, and it's about all I got.
Great, thank you.
Hello, Commission. First time here. My name is Tom Camelli. I live at 49623 Wintergreen, Shelby Township. I'm here to oppose the change of land use for the following reasons. Number one, as you know, the traffic is already terrible on Ryan and 22 Mile. And with industrial and commercial vehicles coming in and out, obviously it's not going to help it. Number two, there is a scrapyard within quarter mile away, eighth of a mile away. I mean, how many scrap yards do we need? Number three, they do have a scrapyard not far from this one. Number four, I researched, there are some violations of air pollution issues that they've had with their other lots. I just think we can find a better use of that property than another scrapyard in Shelby Township. And my name is Tom Camelli, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And I signed it already.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Palazzolo. I'm with Safety King Air Duct Cleaning. We're the neighbor across the street from this property, 50,000 Ryan Road, Shelby Township. I had some concerns about this project. The rendering is amazing. If it looked like that in reality, that would be a great start. But I am concerned about the traffic issues, which we already have quite a few of them there on the corner. I mean, turning in my own driveway, I get the finger at least a few times a week. So this would add, I think, to some of the traffic flow issues. I'm also concerned about the aesthetics and the way that this would look. As the previous speaker mentioned, there's a scrapyard like a quarter mile down the road too. So I'm kind of questioning what the need for this is in our community right now. Other than that, I don't have anything against it. I just have these concerns about this project being located in this specific area.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, go ahead.
Good afternoon. I mean, I'll make it short and sweet. Both of them kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I do not think.
Can you get your name and address, please?
My name's Kevin Picaro. I'm a resident, 49805 Oxford Court. I don't live far from this location we're talking about right now. I'm familiar with the area, like they said. There's a lot of traffic in that corner. They've already really talked about that. Also, like he mentioned, it looks great in the renderings. Give it a few weeks, and scrapyards are very notorious for not looking anything like that. Those scrap piles get bigger and bigger on the daily, and it's very hard to hide those, very, very hard. Another thing is that a lot of those roads around that area during frost law season are restricted as well, so you get a lot of heavy trucks coming in and out of there, and a lot of those trucks are going to be diverted around the 23. It's going to take a lot of wear and tear on those roads. They already are taking a lot of wear and tear, and like he said earlier too, there's another scrap yard. It's like a football field away. So, I mean, combining both those into one, I don't think is amazing for that area. But all in all, really, like I said, they said a lot of things I was coming up to say. So, But all in all, I think there's more negatives than positives about adding another scrapyard right next to another one. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Tom Valentine, 53654 Marion Drive, Shelby Township. You guys saw the pictures of what it looked like before. We all have seen it for many years. What the Foons have done to that property has been amazing. To me, it's been a huge improvement and a huge investment. I do know him, I do business with him, and I'm on the other side of town, and I have a scrapyard 2 doors away from me, but it's a scrapyard. He does recycling. So it's different. If you've ever been to Admiral Metals down in Sterling Heights, it's a lot different than what people call a scrapyard. It is a recycling center. So I thought I'd bring that to your attention. But the thing I've learned about Mike over the years, he reinvests into his company tremendously. He doesn't allow his equipment to fall apart and continue to keep it going until it actually dies and then leaves it there. He reinvests into it, and he does a great job of doing that and keeps his equipment modern and up to date. In terms of the traffic, that used to be a landscape supply place. It had a lot of traffic before. So I don't know if it's really going to change the traffic other than put it back to the way it was prior to it falling apart from when it was a landscaping supply place. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Sean Battle, 56853 Mount Vernon Road. You know, kind of just echoing what the previous gentleman just said.
Get you lower the mic just a little.
So I'd first done business with Admiral Metals back in, I don't know, 2008 or 2009. I was working on that side of town, and when I worked for the pharmaceutical company in Rochester, we were partnered with Admiral Metals, and just seeing the changes and, like he said, the investments they put in their facility over the years, you know, it's really a testament to what they're about and what they're doing. While DeQuinder was closed, I had to drive up that road quite a bit before they took ownership of the property, and it was a mess. When I go by there now, it's almost unrecognizable. If I know anything about the way they've done business over the years and what they've done at their current site, I expect no different on, you know, the site, this proposed site. On top of that, I know a lot of people, again, mentioned about traffic, but how much of the traffic recently is the fact that DeQuinder's been shut down for 2 years, you know, being a landscape supply, and what they're proposing, I really don't think there's going to be that much of a difference, but I, for one, support what they're trying to do. They do a great job running the business they currently have, and I'm excited to see them in Shelby.
Okay, thank you. Consent, yeah. Wait till you get to the mic, please. Yeah.
My name's, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. My name's Angelo Giannetti. I've been since, address is 53345 Williams Way, Shelby Township. And I've lived here over 50 years. This was all, I remember when it's a horseback riding stable on 25 in Van Dyke. I knew Paul Hebert.
I've been here that long as well. So.
Okay, well, I don't feel so old now. But anyway, I knew Paul Hebert when he had the gas station on 24 in Shelby Road, and then he moved over there. And granted, they spent a lot of time and they cleaned the place up, that's fine. But it is what it is. It's not going to look nothing like the picture. And like the other people said, I believe the traffic's going to be an issue. It's an issue now. I've received a ticket at that light when I ran that red light for sitting there for 20 minutes and there was no traffic. But anyway, you know, I think they could find something better to do with that piece of property. Granted, they spent a lot of time, they cleaned it up, but they should have thought about that and maybe changed it to do something else. So I'd rather see something like, say, you've got a scrapyard a quarter mile away, and I just don't see the need for it. I mean, what else can I say? I just got to put in my 2 cents worth. I had to come here to get permission to put a fence in my backyard, and I just live across the street here. So, you know, that's all I have to say. Everybody's pretty much covered everything else. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Could you sign in, please? Sir, could you sign in? Anyone else?
How you guys doing tonight? I guess I was gonna keep quiet and wait for the board meeting, but you guys probably all know me. I'm one of the owners of Apex Recycling. I appreciate you guys giving us the planning zone and us having a yard. But since the gentleman behind me scrapped, said he had a scrap yard, like across the street, Michael Shane.
Okay, and your address?
But
Your
everyone's
address.
looking at the video.
Your address, please.
4725 22 Mile Road, Apex Recycling, yep. So, the pictures and everything, and I'll give them credit, it gets cleaned up. Everyone's saying is true. But if you really want to see what a scrapyard looks like, all you gotta do is go a football field down and look at ours. You guys come to our yard and say, oh my God, how come that pile's so high? We ship almost 1,500, 2,000 ton a month, just of shred. We're not even talking about heavy steel and the other commodities that goes on there. So the store, yes, is looking good. They may see I'm in my best interest because it's a competitor. I don't really care if they're there or not, to be honest with you. But I am gonna tell you the facts. All you do is drive by our yard and you'll see what it looks like in a couple months. They have been around for 40 years. You heard what the lady said. They've been around for 30, 40 years. They have a scrapyard 5 miles away. To come on the corner, that corner is gonna look like shit. I mean, look like crap, excuse my French. The traffic is heavy because it's only a 3-way road. You can't go straight through. When we leave work, it takes us sometimes 10 minutes just to pull on a 22-mile road. But all you ask the planning zone, all you gotta do is drive down there, look at our yard, and you'll see what that yard would look like within a very short time. They have plenty of roll-off trucks, plenty of counts. They've been around longer than us. We've been in Zixon 5 years. They've been 40 years. They're probably gonna do a lot more than we are. So if you think our pile in our yard looks like chaos, we're in the woods. We're off the beaten path. You're gonna see what 22 will look like. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name's Ann Ronikowski. I live at 8531 22 Mile Road. And I'm well aware of the traffic on 22 Mile, and I don't think it's going to be that horrible. I drive through it any time of the day. And it takes a little bit of time sometimes, but that's everywhere right now with the construction. And also, wherever you see a McDonald's, you see a Burger King. There's no set amount, you can't have it within 5 miles. So I really don't think it's going to be that big of a difference, and I think competition's good. I think it'll make Shelby grow more. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Dave Goslin, 53525 Hunters Crossing in Shelby. Something resonated with me. Comparing one business to another is not a justification to say, well, we shouldn't have that business. If one yard is disorganized, maybe it's not run as well as it should be. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna look perfect, right? I'm not a scrap professional, but I do work with the DOD. Admiral has done work with TACOM, General Dynamics. Standards matter, right? Hazmat, storage, height. We talked about height, we talked about visibility. I'd rather have a professional company on this corner that's gonna pay attention to rules than another landscape shop that's gonna come in and have 500 pallets. What other business is gonna go in? Whatever business goes in is gonna impact traffic, right? Unless we turn it into a forest, which I like that too, right? I like Shelby, I like our trees. I got 30 trees on my yard. Whatever goes on that corner is gonna be heavy industrial. If I recall, you said it was zoned heavy? So what's the alternative? What's another heavy industrial that's not gonna draw traffic? It's kind of a moot point. Do I think it should stay like that? I do. Do I drive through there and the traffic's awful? 100%, 100%. But businesses that abide by rules and invest in their equipment and pay attention to the environment, it's recycling, right? I don't want to see a hazmat impact. I want to do more recycling in Shelby. I could see worse businesses that go in there, right? So just wanted to share my thoughts. A few things resonated, so thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you. Could you sign in, please? Anyone else?
Frank Genetti, 12357 Forest Glen, been a resident in Shelby Township for over 55 years. I can't say enough good things about these guys. I've been dealing with them for about 15 years. They do maintain, it is a recycling center. It's, they do take care of their equipment. Yes, like the other guys, the traffic it's gonna be, whatever you put in there is gonna impact the traffic. So I don't think the traffic's a big issue here. And I think a lot of these other guys covered the important points about, traffic, the looks. Whatever you got in a corner, it's gonna be heavy industrial. So it's not gonna be perfect, but I think it's a good competition, and they do run their business very well, so I'd recommend them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Was there someone back here? No. Anyone else? No.
Hi, my name is Chris Sonakori. I'm at 47631 Ryan Road. I own a landscape company. And I recently just met the Foons and Admiral Metals, but I also deal with Apex. And I don't feel that Apex will be hurt by Admiral being there, and competition is good. There's landscapers all over Shelby Township, and we also need metal recycling. Nobody wants, to have all this kind of companies in their cities, but we need them. So I believe it's a good fit for us.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Eric Adams, 56965 Mount Vernon. A couple years ago, I did a remodel on my house, and we had all the copper tubing and the wire, and my son and I were looking for a place that was, clean and safe, where we could take this stuff. We couldn't find anything in Shelby. We ended up going to Admiral on Mound, and it was safe, it was clean, we had a great experience, and I think a facility that is clean, is safe, is going to promote more recycling in the community. I think it's a benefit to the businesses and the residents. I urge you to, and welcome them to our community. I think it'd be great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Dylan Lowe's, 8225 Russell Street, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48316-7. Sorry. I think this is a bad idea. You see, I don't know if you guys have driven by there lately, but they've got 30 semis sitting out there waiting to move material on our roads. So I think no.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? I'll bring it back to the board, ask the planner to offer comments.
Thank you, Chairman. So, Ms. Thurber did a great job of explaining the site. The site has been used over the years for various purposes. Over the past few years, more than a few years, matter of fact, 4 or 5 years, the site has been a target of a blighted site and property for the township. It's been had numerous code violations, and we've been working with the current tenant that was in there prior to in cleaning up the site. As you know, it became just a dumping site and also recycling pallets, and there, as everybody here had seen it, the mound was enormous. So with that being said, a metal recycling facility is a special land use within the heavy manufacturing district. Michael and Elliot Foon came in and cleaned up the site. They're proposing a fence. They meet all the requirements. They've addressed all the special land use standards. They're proposing a fence that's required, the concrete wall and fence around the site. As required in the heavy manufacturing district for a recycling facility, and they are just rearranging the site to meet their needs and purposes. In addition to some of the site improvements that they're doing, they're also painting the building, upgrading, the paint, and just putting a fresh coat of paint on that building. But as far as the traffic is concerned, there was traffic there prior to, and there always will be traffic there no matter what we put in there. So I don't think that's an issue there. But as far as the use, like I said, it's heavy manufacturing. It's in line with our ordinance requirements as long as the special land use standards are met. So, and they have done that.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the petitioner if they'd like to come up to offer any concluding comments, given some of the dialogue.
Evening.
Go ahead. I'll highlight a couple of the issues, and then whether you choose or how you want, how much, so how this process is designed to work is that you present what you want, what you're requesting, and your reasons for it. We allow the public to offer their sort of rebuttal to it. We're going to consider weigh both arguments, and then make a recommendation to the board, who will take a look at the process that we go through. So, what, if you want to just start off, so traffic, I think, was probably the first and foremost.
Sure.
Do you see, you want to comment on?
Excuse me. When we first discussed this plan with Julie, even way before we closed, like, I don't know if it was April or May of 2024, that was one of her biggest concerns, and we decided to come to an agreement that we were going to close the Ryan Road entrance, and then also the entrance that is the closest to 22 Mile. So we're only going to have the one entrance ever open that's far east of Ryan, so that we're going to alleviate a lot of the traffic that comes straight out of our building.
Okay. Having a scrapyard 100 a football field away, I think, if I can quote him,
I mean, I think it's not, I don't think it's the same exact business as what we do. I think we are in the metal recycling business. Like Nick from Dugan said, we handle a lot of manufacturing and plant scrap. We do take in the public also, but I think it's a clear difference if you came to our facility. Julie has been there, Rick has been there, Rick Stathakis, and they both were kind of blown away at the difference of the organization and how we manage the facility with safety protocols and cleanliness. So I don't really think it's a exact comparison. While we both do recycle metal, I think there's quite a bit of a difference, and I don't think that it's going to be an eyesore like anybody has mentioned.
Okay. Past air pollution issues at other facilities, was that?
Sure. So in 2019, there was a ordinance passed for no scrapyard or junkyard or metal recycling facility or even demolition to torch cut in the open air. So once we were alerted of this, we completely changed our procedures and bought a $300,000 piece of equipment that eliminated almost 100% of that. So, we got written up for that, as I think pretty much everybody else in town. So it's not any concern whatsoever.
Okay, thank you. Are there weight restrictions? I think someone mentioned when at a certain temperature, what kind of impact?
Sure. So that's for any company, whether it's a metal recycling company or a trash company or anybody for trucks. During the specific time of year when the weather changes from winter to spring and the roads have their restrictions, you just can't go on whatever road is restricted. And that's not in this specific area, which is why we chose this site.
Okay. I would ask you about need, but you wouldn't be investing in that location if there weren't.
Correct.
So there's, okay.
I mean, I could name several manufacturing companies on 23 Mile that we deal with, including Dugan right there, and, there's definitely a need. You guys have a large manufacturing presence in the city, and clearly there's a need for it. We help facilitate their needs.
Okay, great, thank you. Did anyone from the board wish to ask a question?
Sir.
Sure, Casale.
Thank you. Somebody mentioned that there's 30 semis parked there right now, and I'm just trying to understand, because I'm not familiar with the business, but when you said you deal a lot with manufacturing, so a semi will come from a manufacturing facility and drop off their materials, and then what happens, and how often do you move materials out?
Sure.
What's a daily operation like?
Great question. So I hope to have 30 semis one day. I only have 4, but I hope to have 30 one day. So basically, like at Dugan, we have a roll-off dumpster there, and they fill it with their manufacturing scrap from their fall-off from whatever they're making. And we take it to our facility and with others and compile it, and then we ship it out. And we don't let piles get extremely high, because if we did, we'd be subject to market fluctuations that would fluctuate our money right out of our pocket, and then we wouldn't be able to pay the plants and pay our employees anymore. So we keep it moving pretty regularly so that we can keep cash flow, and that's how it works.
And so when you say moving, you have semis in and out on a daily basis,
Yeah, so
right?
we have a few of our own that will bring in the scrap, and then we have maybe 2 or 3 that will come in a day that take it out.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So most, you're going to your client to pick up the material to bring it back to your facility, or is it?
Yeah, so we have 3 drivers, and we send them out to plants that pick up the scrap and bring it back to us.
Okay.
And then we outsource some trucking that takes it away.
Okay, so there's not a drop-off, sort of random
Yeah,
drop-off?
we do offer public drop-off as well.
Okay, but the heavier volume.
The core of our business is facilitating the manufacturing plants that we service.
All right, I see. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. You can sit down now.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Support. Moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our recommendation this evening must be based on the following: compatibility with adjacent land uses, consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of the special land use, compatibility with the natural environment, consistent with the capacities of public services and facilities affected by the proposed use, protect the public health, safety, and welfare, and the adequacy of public access to the site. This evening, we may recommend approval of this request, we could disapprove the request, or table it to evaluate it further. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Turner.
I'll move to recommend approval to the Township Board for Site Plan Special Land Use Application Number 25-01, Michael Foon, Admiral Metals LLC, 4150 22 Mile Road and 49920 Ryan Road, located on the southeast corner of 22 Mile Road and Ryan Road, Admiral Metals Metal Recycling Facility. The applicant demonstrated that the special land use request has met the standards presented in the zoning ordinance, Section 6.5, Special Land Use Standards, and Section 3.34.d, Industrial District Regulations, and Section 4.50, Junkyards, Auto Wrecking Yards, and Storage of Industrial Wastes of the Township Zoning Ordinance that pertains to the proposed use.
Support. Support. Moved by Turner, support by LeRae. He beat you to it. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner LeRae?
Yes.
Commissioner Opone?
Yes.
Wake you up. Commissioner Dishow?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
And Commissioner Casale?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next item, site plan and special land use number 25-05, Phil Brecht. This is a public hearing. I'll
I'll get my junk out of your way.
We lost everybody. Phil Breck for Giant Properties, 52759 Lemke, Shelby Township, 483.
hang on a second. It's a public hearing, so I'm just going to let it, I was just letting everyone leave. Okay. We need to read the notice.
All right, let's get it out.
Please.
Charter Township of Shelby, notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission for the Charter Township of Shelby, Macomb County, Michigan, has received a request for approval of site plan special land use. Applicant Phil Brecht, Giant Properties LLC, 52759 Lemke Drive, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48315. The proposed use is outdoor storage yard for equipment. The location is 52759 Lemke Drive, located south of 24 Mile Road, east of Shelby Parkway. Site plan SLU 25-05. Sidwell number 230714100043. The legal description: the Planning Commission will meet on Monday, June 9th, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Shelby Township Municipal Building Boardroom, 52700 Van Dyke Avenue, Shelby Township, Michigan, 48316, for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the site plan special land use request. This application for the site plan special land use may be examined at the Planning and Zoning Department in the municipal building Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. Written comments may be submitted to the Planning Commission at the above address prior to the hearing. Oral comments will be heard during the public hearing. This notice is provided pursuant to the requirements of Michigan Public Act 110 of 2006 as amended. Shelby Township Planning Commission, Jerome Moffett Chair, Raquel Moore Secretary. The publication date was May 21st, 2025 in the Macomb Daily, and 24 property owners and 2 applicants were notified by first-class mail on May 20th, 2025.
Thank you. Mr. Kirk, did the publication meet all of your requirements?
Yes, it did.
Great, thank you. And then could you quickly explain the uses under the present zoning and if this special land use request is appropriate?
So this is the light manufacturing district, which is a little less intense than the one we had before this. It does permit this type of use, and the specific use they're asking for requires special land use, which is the outdoor storage.
Okay, approved. Great, thank you. The format for this will be similar to what we just experienced. Petitioner will be called up to state what they're requesting and the reasons for it. Then turn it to the board to ask questions. I'll then open up the public to offer any comments or their questions. And then finally, I'll let the petitioner respond to anything that may have been raised. At this time,
All right, my name is Phil Brecht with Giant Properties, 52759 Lemke Drive, 48315. We are seeking site plan approval for a special land use outdoor storage. Giant Properties owned this building since 2006. There's a eastern part of the land that wasn't used for all these years. Now with the congestion on 24 Mile and the dead end at Lemke Drive, we've been unable to, it's not as easy to back deliveries up out in a 24 Mile. So we thought that if we took the land on the east side that's been kind of used for farming almost, it is part of our property, and moved some of our equipment there, we'd have a better chance of getting the semis to turn around versus backing out on a 24 Mile where we've had to actually stop traffic. So that's really the intent here. We do want to keep everything consistent with landscape around this area. This is a 70 by 175 area. We're going to match the existing fencing around the current outdoor storage. We also are going to put screening, 8-foot arborvitaes around the entire area. We did propose asphalt millings with its own drainage area, retention area, keeping the water in the area or on the site. So all in all, it is a safety issue with 24 Mile. It'll help clean everything up that was in our original yard, and it gives those semis a better opportunity to actually turn around and do what they have to do.
Okay.
So we are requesting that get approved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
To the board, does anyone have any questions for the petitioner? Seeing none, I'll turn on to the public. You can sit down for a second. This is the only public hearing the Planning Commission will hold on this special land use request. All remarks will be entered into the record for Township Board evaluation. We are recommending body. The Township Board will evaluate our recommendation before making its final decision. At this time, anyone from the audience? I'm looking at you three guys, so. Just get name, address.
Steve Olson. I own the property at 12412 24 Mile Road, which is the adjacent property to, I own the farm that they're talking about. Probably should have just called you guys when I got the letter, because I'm on friendly terms with them, and I'm not opposed to them building the building there, but I'm just concerned about the drainage, and if my field is just gonna get, it's hard to run the tractor through there and keep the field cut down, and with, in the wet season in the spring, and I just don't know how much worse that's gonna get if they build a building there. And I don't wanna stop them from building it, I just wanna make sure that the drainage is addressed, because, someday I might wanna build buildings on that property as well. And are there setbacks? What are the setbacks gonna be? How close is the building gonna be to the property line? I don't know. Was I supposed to have access to this information prior to this meeting?
Yeah, why don't you,
So
we're
let me speak
we're
to
not
some-
going quietly to Hoyle, but let's.
Let me speak to this is not a building we're actually building, we're just keeping that parking area there. So
it.
there's zero building,
it was a storage
it's actually
building.
surrounded by the shrubbery, which actually we're keeping your water off of our land, and our water's staying on our land now. So the wall of shrubbery is actually keeping your water from coming on our land, and
Yeah, I
our
have no
water's staying
complaints
within
about
there.
the current
Yeah, so
situation.
there's no building, this is just an outdoor storage to keep the same
I thought
equipment.
they were building an outdoor storage building.
No, just an outdoor parking area, so.
And frankly, they're required to maintain the water on their site. If you change anything on your property and then, engineering approves it to make sure.
No building. We just want to utilize the farm that's been sitting there for 20 years as we stare at weeds all the time and say, hey, let's do something with this and
Right,
make it
right.
more improved for the township, and so that's
Okay.
that, so.
So are you building up the grade at all, or staying where
Well,
it is?
it's, I don't know if anybody's seen that area, but we did build it up with, there's a big berm now, keeping the water within our area, keeping your water out. So really, we're not building anything up in the middle. It's actually, the berms of the trees are keeping everything from coming on ours and vice versa.
Okay.
And we are going to put a, I think it was a 10 by 70 area that's actually gonna, we're gonna funnel our water to a little holding area also. So
closer
it's
to Dave's?
closer to Dave's.
I gotcha.
So it won't even be anywhere near affecting the neighboring properties.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
cool.
Hopefully that answered.
I don't think I have any other questions.
Okay, good,
I
thanks.
I
Just-
thought they were building a building, so I
Yeah,
just,
it's-
I
yeah,
really
no
don't
worries.
care about them storing stuff.
You guys want to comment? No, then I'll turn it over to the planner.
Thank you, Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I will echo that the stormwater management on site will be handled by Mr. Breck. It'll be evaluated by our township engineers as part of the site plan approval, should the site plan request be approved by the Township Board of Trustees. They are proposing a retention depression at the southern portion of this drainage area that should help maintain the water on the property. In addition to that, they're planting, I don't have the exact number, but it's quite a few arborvitaes on the property.
76.
So that, 76, there you go. So that'll also help retain any water and dry up the area as well. Those roots will absorb a lot of the water from the existing groundwater and help maintain it on the site. With that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, a proposal for outdoor storage. They're using, excuse me, arborvitaes and fence with slats to kind of screen the outdoor storage, which will be limited to equipment, as I asked Mr. Breck to identify on the site plan with the preliminary review. The surrounding properties are all light manufacturing uses and zones, zone districts, so it would not be, I think, out of scale to approve this use for the property. And with that, we did go through a preliminary review for the site. There's only a few more comments that should be addressed in the site plan, and most of them can be addressed. I know you gave us the special land use narrative that identified, the fencing and the irrigation. Some of that stuff will just have to be transferred over to the site plan. I have it laid out in the report for you. It will give you after the meeting. Those can be pretty easily addressed. The one item I wanted to bring attention to the Planning Commission was that the zoning ordinance does require that the fence with slats and tree plantings must be evaluated as adequate screening for the outdoor storage. The 8-foot tall arborvitaes, I think, will do a good job screening there, but it is up to the Planning Commission, after all, to recommend approval for that. And the last thing, originally when you gave us the site plan, the southern boundary of the area was proposed for arborvitaes, so it was kind of a full perimeter screening.
Yes.
I noticed that was removed. Is that removed for the stormwater retention, or is it to expand it in the future to the other subtenant south of you?
That's,
The second one?
yeah, in the event this is approved, then I'm assuming the tenant south of me would potentially, and then we would, but I actually will probably propose a fence. I think we missed that on the site plan. Fence our whole property off to block, so it's separate from him, but that would be the objective. Or we could do arborvitaes, it doesn't.
Sure. And, that would be, not facing 24-mile roads, so it would be pretty far removed from any sightlines on 24-mile. Beyond that, there's just some simple engineering comments about making sure that the access drive is going to be a minimum of 16 feet wide, which I think you should be able to do there if you're removing one of the existing trees and kind of removing that reserved septic field, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So shouldn't be any issues with that. Other than that, I'll toss it back to the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Do we need a sort of a definitive answer on whether it's going to be a fence or arborvitaes or?
The goal would, I do want to put a fence there. I think the reason the arborvitae is surrounded from all sides except for the southern tenant who's also zoned LM, and so he's probably going to potentially utilize that. So from 24 Mile, which is 400 feet away, that's all arborvitaes. From Jimmy Drive, even from our view, it's all big 8-foot arborvitaes right now that surround it. But we do want to put a fence on that. For some reason, another engineer forgot to draw on the fence on the south side of the property.
Good.
That's the goal.
Your mouth's open, you're just going to talk? All right, go ahead.
I just wanted to commend Mr. Brecht on going above and beyond the landscaping requirements, especially in this light manufacturing district. There is no screening requirements between the districts, and he's proposed a significant amount of arborvitae. So I just want to commend him on the site plan.
Good. Thank you. Thanks. I don't see any comments, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our recommendation this evening, Our recommendation this evening must be based on the following: compatibility with adjacent land uses, consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of the special land use, compatibility with the natural environment, consistent with the capacities of public services and facilities affected by the proposed use, protect the public health, safety, and welfare, and the adequacy of public access to the site. We may recommend approval, disapprove, or table this request this evening. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Casali.
I move to recommend approval to the Township Board of Trustees for site plan special land use number 25-05 Phil Brecht, Giant Properties LLC, 52759 Lemke Drive, parcel number 23-07-14-100-043, located south of 24 Mile Road, east of Shelby Parkway. Proposed outdoor storage yard for equipment. The applicant has met the standards in the zoning ordinance, including section 6.5 special land use standards and section 4.53 outdoor storage. Revised site plans must be submitted to comply with all planning commission, engineering, and department comments.
Support.
Moved by Casali, support by Baker. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Casali.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Deschamps.
Yes.
Commissioner Turner.
Yes.
Commissioner Pone.
Yes.
Commissioner Larray.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Good luck and thanks. Planning Director's report.
I don't have anything, Chairman, and we will have a meeting on June 23rd.
Excellent. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support? Is there support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Supported it.